Hey guys, so we're going to be working with a pretty good project today, pretty bigger one. This is not for the faint of heart. We're going to be working with an application called OmniParser, which Microsoft has put out for us. Essentially, what it does is it is able to take screenshots of your desktop or whatever, and it gives each element an ID, and it's going to give it coordinates as well, so that then we can later use these to build intuitive scripts. Okay, so really cool stuff. You can see here it's labeling stuff and putting the things over here. We're going to be going through the GitHub on it's a pretty easy install. The bigger issue here is going to be how do we use this thing. Okay, now as usual, I've gone ahead and built a larger application around it. This is what the basic application is going to look like. You throw something in there, it's going to give you your elements. But again, it's not going to actually help you to build stuff. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and created an app, which we're just going to be able to, with a click, be able to create scripts very simply. Okay, and we've created some supporter apps, which we're going to be able to just go through, get the screenshots we need from the places we need, and get them in there. So that is not something that comes with the install that we're going to do, but will be available over on the Patreon page. But I'm going to walk you through all this stuff, and I guarantee you're not going to be finding anywhere else on YouTube where they're going to go this in depth into it. Everything else is going to kind of tell you what it is. It's not going to tell you how to use it. And guys, this is one of these things that's going to expand your mind, because it's not just as simple as saying like, oh, well, I got the app. And I mean, it's like, what are you going to do with it? It's an incredible tool, but it's going to lead you into laying back on your bed and thinking about, wow, what could I do with this, and how could I program this, and all of that. Really cool stuff that we're going to go through. And it is all here thanks to a fellow that we know called Real World, who has sponsored this video. He went ahead, sponsored the tutorial. He sponsored the app. I wouldn't have made this app if it was not for Real World. Real World is a musician that obviously has a flair for the artistic, big brain fella. He's gone off to music school, and he's creating his own music and using his intelligence to actually go out there and make his hustle. One of the things he's done here, as you can see, is he's got this Nintendo 64 cartridge. He actually, with a 3D printer, had that made, and he put his music on it, so you can actually plug that into your Nintendo 64 and listen to his music. So I love that kind of stuff. That's really intelligent. That's really intelligent stuff. And so go ahead and check out his site. See the kind of stuff that he's working on.
She said good morning ties. She said that she moving in the ties.
See the kind of stuff that he's working on, and give him a shout out for getting this done for us. So again, thank you, Real World, for your sponsorship on this, and I will put his stuff down in the description area. So as well with that, be sure to like and share the video. This is a great time. We're going to the holidays, so people are going to have some time off to work on different projects. Guys, AI with a friend is better than AI alone. So we actually have membership subscriptions over on the Patreon page. Dude, $5-10, send it to a buddy. Say, hey, get in this and let's work on some stuff together. Because the bigger the community goes, the better it is. It means the more this kind of stuff's happening, the more sponsorships for videos and apps, and the more ideas people are getting, the bigger the community, the more stuff's being made for the community. Really cool stuff, and I think we all agree is a pretty fulfilling hobby. So, all right, with no further ado, we is going to move forward with this. Let's get into this in-depth use of OmniParser. We'll start with the installation, and then how the heck do we use this thing? Hang in there. We're going to talk about that. Yo. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. It's going to be probably a bit of a longer tutorial because we're covering stuff, again, that you're not going to find anywhere else. So let's pop on over to our browser, and let's start with just looking at the demo so you can kind of see what we're looking at. So just do a search for OmniParser demo. Hey, we'll hit that enter, and then we're going to come out and find this one over here. It's actually the one that says OmniParser demo. It's on Hugging Face. So you just click that, and it's going to bring us over to here. Okay, so you can see it's from Microsoft. It's OmniParser. Now I've already gone ahead and loaded something up. You just throw in a screenshot, okay, and then you can see over here what it's done is it's gone ahead and given the different stuff labels so that we can click it. Down here you're going to see where it's labeled everything, text box ID, properties, project files, all this stuff. So it's not perfect, like you can see that this isn't a P there, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. As long as it's unique, that's all that we're going to need, because each one of these things, say like text box 7, is going to line up down here with coordinates. And when we use these coordinates, what we're going to be able to do is actually activate that button. So it helps when we move our mouse around. Like you see me moving my mouse around, every time I put it here, it's on some kind of XY coordinate, right? So you've got a Y line, you've got an X line, and it starts at 0 in the middle, and you get numbers going out, right? Numbers going up, negative numbers down, negative numbers back, this kind of stuff. So wherever you are on that grid, there is a coordinate, a number that is so far on to the right and so far on the Y. Okay, so same thing when we're using our mouse. This is actually how our computers work when we're using them, is it actually keeps track of the position of different things on the screen. So what this app does is it actually figures that out for you, gives it to you in not only just in numbers, but in a place that you can tie it in with things. And this is going to be powerful, because then later when we're using code, we're going to be able to actually say this, we're going to be able to create actual configuration files that have an element ID, say like start button, and start button is at this coordinate. And then we're just going to be able to say, get start button. And it's going to be able to go to the config, get all those numbers without us having to type all of that in. Okay, so that is actually where this comes pretty powerful. But again, you're going to notice that with this app, there's nothing more beyond the coordinates. So they've given you the ability to get the coordinates, but they're not doing the programming for you. What we're going to do is go ahead and install this. Okay, we're gonna install the basic one for you so that you can get going. I'm gonna show you what to do with these numbers so that you can build your own stuff. At the same time, when we're done with that, we're gonna pop over and we're gonna look at the sequence builder that I've created over here, which does the same thing, but actually puts everything into boxes. So I could just click, say this element box 20, and I could say click on it, and then I could say wait for 3 seconds. I could just click it, and then add the sequence. Okay, and it's going to add it down there. Maybe I'm going to want to type something in. I'll go over here to text, and I'll say this is the text, right? And then I'll do the same thing. I'll just click add to sequence, or maybe I need to press the escape key. So we're going to be able to do all of this through the this other app that I've created, which is not, again, what Microsoft has given us. Microsoft gave us the background here, how to get it, but from there you have to build your own stuff. Again, I'm going to show you how to do it, but if you're going to want to get just going fast in here, we're going to use this app, which again is sponsored by our buddy Real World over there, and I think you're going to find quite satisfactory. But let's go ahead and get to the installation. Okay, so we're going to go over here and let's do a search for OmniParser GitHub. Of course, GitHub is our repository of all wonderful things, AI and open source. So we'll find this one here by Microsoft. Now there's going to be a little bit, we're going to install this, but then we're going to have to do something else on top of it to get everything we want. But we're going to scroll down here. So this is a Creative Commons license. So this is open source, but you have to let them know it's a Microsoft thing, right? So they have given us, you can build stuff off this. It's great. Okay, we're going to scroll down here to the install. So it's a pretty basic install. Notice it is using Python 3.12, which means that we're going to go ahead and use Conda with this. The reason we're going to use a Conda virtual environment instead of a Python virtual environment is because Conda allows us to install different versions of Python, even if they're not our base version. So in other words, on my base version, for instance, my Python is 3.11.10, I believe. Okay. Oh, I need 3.12. So if I created a Python virtual environment, I would be stuck with 3.11. But with our Conda environments, we can actually choose a specific 3.12. So that gives us a little bit of a hint which virtual environment to use there. Okay, I want you to notice it's we creating, we're activating it, we're installing requirements. Do you notice anything that's missing from the install? Well, what files are we using? So it didn't mention the git clone. Okay, so we can take that again as a hit that we're going to have to go ahead and git clone this. Okay, so a couple ways we can do this. We can click here on code and it pops up this HTTPS, and we can just go ahead and copy that URL, or you can just go up to the top here and copy it as well. So, all right, having said that, what we're going to do then is we're going to pop over to our command prompt, okay, and we're going to find a place on our desk where we want to go ahead and put this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it under a temp directory. So I'm going to type cd temp, and that's going to have that directory there. I had already had that made. If I needed to make it, I could have typed mkdir, which stands for make directory, and it would have, and then temp, and then it would have made it. But mine was already made. So I just typed cd temp. That means change directory temp. It gets us in there. If I type directory, you're going to see it's empty. Okay. So I'm going to type cls to clear the screen. Okay. Clean screen, clean mind. And now let's just go ahead and, let's type git clone. So we're calling the application git, and we're saying what we want to do is clone, and then we're giving it the address that we copied. We're going to hit enter, and now it's going to go ahead and clone in all of these files. If we type dir now, which means directory, we're going to see it created a folder called OmniParser. So let's change directory, get in there, go OmniParser, hit directory again, and now you're going to see everything's in there. And there's that requirements.txt that we're going to be working with. So we are now in a good place. So let's go back to our browser and let's see what they've got us doing. So the first thing they want us to do is to go ahead and create a virtual environment. Okay, so this is good. They added that. Virtual environments are important because that way you avoid getting conflicting dependencies. If my main system is using a certain file, or whatever, certain dependency is what they call them, and like say it's using version 3, but then I run an application that requires version 2, well, it can mess things up. And then if I install the version 2, it might mess up my version 3 for my main system. So what we do is we create virtual environments that will help keep our system clean. And what that's called is it helps us to avoid polluting our system. Okay, and you talk to anyone that's done this stuff, they will tell you the pains of pollution. So let's go ahead and paste this in here. What we've got is we type conda. If you don't have miniconda installed, you need to install miniconda, and you need to follow my video, because if you don't do a certain setting correctly, you will mess up your system. Okay, it'll screw up your Python. So make sure you check out my tutorial on how to set up miniconda correctly. It's very fast. So we type conda, and then we're saying what we want to do is create. We're creating a virtual environment. We're putting this -n that is a parameter, which means name. So we're going to create a virtual environment, and now we're saying, hey, I'm about to give you the name. And the name we're going to give it is Omni, okay? And then we're going to say, and you actually don't have to have these parentheses. They put those in there, but whatever, it's fine. And then by typing Python equals 3.12, that means that's the version that we want it to be. Okay, so we could, if we wanted Python 3.10, we would put 10, but we want 3.12. So we're going to go ahead and enter. Now mine's already been created, so it's going to so I'll just go ahead and do it. It says this will remove all directories contained within the specified directory. Well, actually, I'm not going to do it because I don't want you to wait, but you would press yes. Okay, I'm going to press no, but you would press yes, and then it would go ahead and it would install everything. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yours will take a few minutes, or not a few minutes, take about a minute, and it will install the stuff, and then you're all ready to go. So then to go ahead and activate it, we would just type conda activate Omni. Okay, and then you'll notice it has this over here, which shows us that we're now in our virtual environment. So it's like, if we don't activate it, it does no good. So it's like saying, hey man, I got this awesome, what do they call it? You put on a tablecloth to keep the table clean. Yeah, where's that? It's in the closet. Well, what good does that do? Unless it's actually spread on the table. So in the same way, we have to make sure we activated our virtual environment. And now we can see that we have, because this Omni. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen again, CLS, and I'm going to go back to my browser and let's see what the next directions are. So it's going to want us to install the requirements.txt, but we know there's a few things that we have to do before we start installing our dependencies. If we're using NVIDIA, we need to go ahead and we need to install our CUDA toolkit. Okay. If you're just running AMD, then you don't have to worry about this part. Just go ahead and install your requirements. But for those of us using NVIDIA, we've got to do a few things first. So what we're going to do is we're going to type conda. Again, we're going to use our mini conda. This time we're saying, what do we want conda to do? We want it to install something. And I want it to install the CUDA toolkit, but I'm going to get it out of a catalog. So I'm going to say -C. I'm going to say, hey, install this thing, but get it from a particular area, a catalog. Okay, the catalog is called NVIDIA. If I was going to buy something from JCPenney's, I would get the JCPenney's catalog. Here we're looking at the NVIDIA catalog. I'm scrolling through the pages. I go, this is what I want. I want the CUDA toolkit. Okay, and which version do I want? Well, I want the 11.8. So if you're going to buy a shirt online, maybe it's all got the same print, but you want the blue one instead of the red one, or you want the white one instead of the yellow one, or whatever. So we say that we are installing from this catalog that's called NVIDIA, and we are grabbing the CUDA toolkit, and we're grabbing the 11.8 version. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a -Y, and what that does is it just prompts so that I don't have to later. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? By putting a -Y, I just don't have to do it. Now again, mine's already been installed. I'm already all set up. Yours will take 30 seconds or so to do. Okay, now if we go back over here, you see it wants us to install the requirements, but I'm going to show ahead and show you something here really quick. Again, if you're running AMD, you don't need to worry about this, okay? But with NVIDIA, we want to make sure that we're getting all the right stuff that's CUDA enabled. So I'm going to type notepad requirements.txt, and that's going to open up an external window over here. Let's see if I can get to it. Okay, and I'm going to look at, these are the requirements that it's going to be installing. And just as I thought, it's going to be installing Torch and Torch Vision, but here's the deal. Those are going to be the non-CUDA versions. We need the CUDA versions. So if you're running AMD, just do it as is. But if you're running NVIDIA, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to cancel these out of here. It's going to save us a little bit of time. Okay, I'm just going to delete them. I'm going to press Control S to save, or I'm going to go up and hit File and then Save. Okay, then I can go. I won't close it out, but we'll go back to here. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is we can install these requirements, but first, actually, let's go ahead, go back to our browser, and we're going to install this Torch manually. So I'm going to go up here to my browser and type Torch install. It's going to take us up to this screen, and we're going to grab this one for PyTorch that says Start Locally. Now we can go through all of this, and we grab our CUDA versions. If you're running 12.1, you grab 12.1. But what we're going to do is highlight all of this. Well, we're going to highlight the install. Okay, I'm going to leave that pip3. We don't want to use that. And notice we're going to be able to get rid of Torch Audio. We don't need that. But I'm going to go ahead and highlight this. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to go back over to my command prompt where we live and die. We're going to go back over to here. Now, if I press Control V, it's just going to say install Torch Vision Source. It's not what we want. It won't work. Watch, I'll hit enter. It's going to say it doesn't understand it. We still have to, what we call pip install. Okay, just like we used conda install, pip is the Python package installer. We use pip, but I'm going to show you a little secret. When we're in a virtual environment, what it does is it creates a file on our computer that where we keep all these things like that we've downloaded, like we're put Python 3.12. It's going to be in a particular file. So when we do pip install, we assume that it's going to put it into the correct file. But when we just use the plain pip, what it's doing is it's using the system's pip, and we're assuming it's going to put it in the right place, and it doesn't always. So I'm going to show you a little pro tip here. We're going to do this. We're going to type Python. So we're actually going to call the Python app itself, and then we're going to go -m. okay, which means that we're going to run something as a module, and then we're going to type pip install. Well, no, then we're going to type -m pip. So because we're in our virtual environment here, we've already installed 3.12, which means that when we do Python, it's going to be calling the virtual environment Python, and then it's going to say, go ahead and run your pip program, is what that's doing. So we're actually using the Python and the pip from the actual virtual environment itself instead of the base one, okay? If that doesn't make sense, it's okay, don't worry about it. Just know that this makes it a little bit easier. Then I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here, and I'm going to use my left arrow, and I'm going to get rid of torch audio. We don't need torch audio because we're not dealing with anything that has to do with sound. We're doing video, and we're doing data crunching. Torch is our data crunching, and text type stuff, and torch vision is our image type stuff. So you'll notice over here it has a -- index URL, which again is a parameter saying that we want to install these things, but we want to install it from a particular location. We want to install it from this location, which means that those things have already been pre-compiled for use with NVIDIA. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're in our virtual environment, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Okay, again, mine's already been installed, so it just takes a second. Yours will take a few minutes. Torch is a large install. Okay, so you'll have to wait a bit, but when it's done, you're done. Now we can go back over to, where are we at? Now we can go back over here to our browser, and now we can do our pip install requirements. Okay, if we had not changed it, you remember we had gone over here and we deleted, whoops, oh, damn it, hold on. We had clicked the wrong button. Remember, we had deleted torch and torch vision. If we had not deleted this, what would happen is that when we go back over here to install our requirements, it would uninstall everything that we did, and then put the wrong version on there, which is what we don't want. Otherwise, we could have just done the requirements and then done this afterwards, but this just saved us a little bit of time. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, pip install the requirements. We can do the same thing over here. We can just type python -m. You can pip install it, it's fine. Again, this is just a little bit more of a correct way. There are times where I've installed stuff and it says, I can't find it. And you're like, oh, well, I know I pip install it. So I can't find it. But I'm pip installing, it's not finding it. If you use python -m and then pip install it, that will actually fix the problem. So this is actually a more correct way to do it. The other way assumes it's going to do it correctly. This one makes sure it does it correctly. So we're going to go ahead and install it. That -r, I forgot to show you, means read. So it means that we're installing from a file, and then we're giving it the name of the file. Yours will, again, take probably 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes to install because there's a lot of stuff. The nice thing about this is once you've installed it, if you have to reinstall, then it goes as fast as it did for me. Okay, so now we know our requirements are installed. So now we're going to go ahead and we have to download the model. So this is a little bit of a manual thing that we have to do. Again, when we get over here to using this, if you go ahead and grab this whole app over here, the script builder, it's going to do all this for us so that we don't actually have to do this manually. But we're going to do this manually. So it says download the model check. CKPTS means checkpoint. So that means, our models, our brain, our AI. Grab the checkpoint files from this place and put them under weights. Put them under the weights folder. So if we go actually over to what we've been installing here, let's pop over to here. Go back to our file explorer. Okay, so if we go into here, you're going to see there's a folder called weights. Okay, and there's nothing there right now, but this is where we're going to download these models to. So, so it says download and put in the weights, but then it says default structure is weights/icon detect. So this is the folder, this /, you can tell it's a / because the top of it is leaning to the right. If the top was leaning to the left, that'd be a backslash, but leaning to the right, icon detect. So we're gonna have to create a folder called icon detect, and then it wants us to create one called icon Florence, and then this blip 2. So let's go ahead and create these really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this. Okay. I'm going to press Control C. Then let's go back over to our File Explorer. We're underneath our weights. I'm going to go ahead and just right click. I don't know if you can see me. Well, actually, let's do it out of Command Prompt. I might as well just do this out of Command Prompt. So let's go back to here. And we can see there's our weights folder. So let's type CD weights. Okay, so that's going to change directory into the weights directory. Now if I type dir, there you go. That's the same thing that we were seeing over here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type mkdir, which means make directory, and I'm just going to paste it in, icon_detect. Now if I type dir, you see I've got a directory called icon detect. So let's go back, get our other next folder we're going to need. We're going to need one called icon caption Florence. Okay, and one of the reasons they use these underscores, by the way, is when you double click, it grabs it all as one word, which is nice. So when you're programming, you can keep that in mind. Underscores are like just having letters right next to each other. Okay, so let's pop on back over to Command Prompt, and we're going to do the same thing. mkdir, and then we're going to hit Control V. It's going to create that directory. Now we've got two directories. Let's pop back over to our browser and let's grab this last one, icons caption blip 2. Okay. Notice how it didn't grab the period, because the period's not considered part of the word, but underscores are considered part of the word. All right, anyway, popping back over, we do the same thing, mkdir, if I could get to our thing, mkdir, and then do it. Okay, so now we have our three folders that we're going to need. So good job. You are a DOS pro now. Okay, so going over here, we need to go ahead and we're going to right click on this and go open link in new tab. So it's going to go ahead and bring us over here to our files and versions. Now this is a little bit of work, so what we're going to do is click on this, and then we're going to hit the download button. Okay, so we're in the icon detect. We're going to just hit download. Let me pop over to here so you can see everything. And we're going to go ahead, and this one is going to our icon detect. So let's go down to our D, to our folders. Okay, and we're just going to go save. Okay, then we'll grab this YAML. Same thing, it'll already keep us in here, so we'll go save. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to click back here to go back to where we were. And now let's grab the Florence stuff. Now notice Florence is 1.8 gigabytes, so that's a little bit bigger. So let's just start here. We'll hit the download. Now we got to make sure that we're in the right folder. So we're going to click up here, go back, and then we'll go to icon caption Florence. We're going to save that. Okay, then we'll grab this one, do the same thing, and then we're going to grab this bigger one, click it, and what we'll do is the same thing. Okay, easy peasy. Now going back over here, we got to go into this blip 2. So these ones are big. Again, 5 gigabytes, 2.49 gigabytes. So let's go ahead, grab these, go to weights. There's our blip 2 folder. So we'll save that there. Then we'll go over here, click the download thing, save it there. Go here, click the download thing, save it there. And then we'll grab this and save it there. Now you can see up here it's downloading these things. It'll take a little bit of while. I've got fast internet, so it's only taking a minute or two. If you got slower internet, it's going to take you a little bit of time. Okay, so while that's doing that, let's pop out of this big screen and let's go back over here to see what it's going to have us do afterwards. Okay, so after we're done there, it's going to have us convert these things. So if you notice over here, oh shoot, where were we at? Here we were. This file over here was in, I think it was under here, in a safe tensors format. So it's going to want us to convert that. So what we're going to do is when we're done, we're going to go to our OmniParser folder, and we're going to run this. And basically what it's saying, it says go into the subdirectory of weights and then run this program. And then this program has already been set up to do the work for you to change everything. And then we're going to, once we're done with that, we're going to be ready to go. Okay, so right now we're just waiting for the download to finish. I'll hit pause. Looks like it's about 1 minute and we'll be done. So hold on. We'll be right back, yo. Okay, so we're done downloading. So let's go ahead and run this last thing. We're going to go ahead and highlight that. Let's go back over to our command prompt. Now, if you notice in our command prompt, we're in the weights folder. And what we're doing over here is we're actually calling the weights folder. So let's go back. We could just delete this and run the app as it is, but let's just follow the directions as is so as not to confuse you. So what we're going to do is type CD. We're going to change directory and we're going to go dot dot. One dot means the actual folder you're in. If we hit one dot, we're going to stay, but two dots means go back one. So now you'll notice we're in the parser thing. So we're going to go ahead and press Control V. And what we're doing is we're calling Python, and because we're going to end up, look, you can see over here, there's a .py. We're going to end up running a Python file. So we're going to call the interpreter to run this file, and all we're doing is we're just telling it where it's located. So it's located in the weights folder. Okay. So we're saying Python run this file, which is found in this folder. So let's go ahead and hit enter. And it'll take a second, and it's going to go ahead and, okay, so we had an error. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. It says that model.yaml doesn't exist. So let's go cd weights, and then let's go cd icon underscore detect. And it says model.yaml. Oh, so it has it there. So notice it. There's a discrepancy. There's a naming issue. They want model.yaml. They called it icon detect.yaml. So no problem. We're going to just type ren, which means rename, and we're going to type detect underscore model. We're going to type the name of the one that exists, and then we're going to just change it to what we want it to be. Okay, then we hit enter. Now if we type dir, you'll see that it exists. So let's go cd again, and then cd again. Now I'm going to hit the up arrow so I don't have to type it again. And there it is. Okay, now let's go ahead and run this. And you'll notice it went ahead and did the work. Good job, man. You guys are pros now. Okay, it's all good stuff to learn. So okay, now we're going to go ahead and run the demo. So we're going to just go ahead and grab this Python. Again, see, it's a py file, so we have to use the Python interpreter to run it. So we're going to say Python run this file. So we'll copy that, rip on back over to here, and if we type dir, you'll see there it is, gradiodemo.py. Now notice we're in the virtual environment. If you were loading this from the start, you would have to type conda activate omni. Okay, and we're already in it, so it's not going to do anything. But because otherwise you get errors saying it doesn't have torch, it doesn't have all this, but everything's installed. So let's go ahead, Python gradio demo.py, and then it's going to go ahead and load it. And when it's done loading, it'll give us a localhost URL so that then we can open it up in our browser. Okay, so we got an error here. Let's go ahead and see what our error is. Okay, and so the error has to do with config.json file. So remember, we had to change that one thing. So Microsoft has made an error here in its directions. So what we need to do is we need to go to our file explorer, and we're going to actually go, well, or we can do it. Let's do this on command prompt, I guess. Let's go back to our command prompt, and we're going to go back to our weights, cd weights. Okay, and then it's in our caption Florence. So we're going to go cd icon underscore caption underscore Florence. Now it's the same issue that we're having here with this JSON file. It just wants config.json, but they overnamed it. So to save time, we'll just highlight it and press Control C. And I'm going to type ren, which means rename. We're going to type that in there, space, and then we're going to go config.json. Okay, now it's gone ahead and changed it. Let's go cd dot dot to go back one, dir. Let's see what's going on in this blip2 folder as well. Same thing, we can, sake of time, we can just highlight it, cd, And let's see if it's got a config. So it's got the same thing. Let's go ahead and change this one too. And we'll go ren config.json. Okay, so now we've changed all of our configs. That was an error by Microsoft in the instructions. So now if we go cd ... it's going to take us back to the weights. Well, I'm going to put a slash and then ... again. So it's going to take us back 2 folders. Now if we type Python gradio app.py, I don't know what's it called, Python gradio demo. Now it will go ahead and we'll load the app. So it's got to wait for it. It's thinking. It's going. Okay, there we go. Now it's gone ahead and got us. Now this isn't great either, but notice that we're going to highlight this. Let's go back over to our browser, and we're going to go in here and just paste it in. Notice it's not work because it doesn't like this 00. So you've got to change this. There's just little errors that Microsoft made which don't help. So just type in localhost. All right, so now it's going to go ahead and load your app. There you have it. So we can go ahead and grab an image, something with buttons on it, and then we can go ahead and submit. So you can play with these things. They don't work all that great. So notice it's gone ahead and parsed everything, but notice it didn't give the coordinates, which really isn't helpful. So it gave us a box ID, but it didn't give us the coordinates. So let's go ahead and we're going to have to do our own little thing here to get the coordinates. So hold on, and we'll get that done now. Okay, so to fix this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over to, we're going to do a search again for OmniParser. And this time we're going to type demo. And we were here already before, if you remember. We came here. We're going to find the Hugging Face demo. We're going to come here. Now this one, we're going to go up here to where it says files. Okay, and what we want to do is grab its app. Okay, so I don't know why Microsoft did this. I got to assume that they're just busy, and so they don't, it's oversight kind of stuff. But they give you the installation that has errors in it, and then they give you the app, and it doesn't have everything you need. So this is the backdoor way that we're going to get this sorted out. So we're going over to the demo, we're clicking on files, and then we're just going to download this app here. So we're going to go ahead and click that. Now you're going to see it's going to pop up a download to where. So you're going to go ahead and choose your OmniParser folder. You can see you got your Gradio demo.p. We're just going to go ahead and save it as app.py. I already saved it, but we'll save it again. Now we're not quite out of the woods. We're going to run that, but we still have to do a little bit more to get it working. Okay, so let's go back over to our command prompt. And we'll cancel out, press Control C to get out of what we were running. Okay, now if we type dir, you're going to see we have our app.py. Okay, so let's go ahead. We need to edit it first. Okay, there's no way that you could know this stuff unless I'm telling you it. So it's kind of frustrating. They give you broken installs, but whatever. We're going to type notepad app.py, and that's going to go ahead and open up our notepad again. Okay, so there's a few things we got to get rid of. Here where it says import spaces, you need to delete that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and go Control F and type in the word spaces, and it's going to scroll us down to another place. Get rid of this. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Get rid of this. So we got to get rid of all the places where it talks about spaces. Then go ahead and press Control S. That's going to save that file. We can go back to our command prompt. Now, instead of running the Gradio demo, what we're going to do is we're going to go Python app.py. Okay, and this is actually going to work for us now. So, sorry that I had you walk that other one. I had to show you where it messes up so that we can fix it. And as frustrating as it is, at least you start to realize how things work. So down the road, it doesn't quite get you. Now, notice this one gave us a lot better URL to use. So I just double-clicked it. Highlight it all, press Control C. Now if we go over to our browser, we can paste it in there and it's going to load up. It looks the same, but now when we run it, so I'm going to go ahead and throw something in there and I'd hit submit. Now when we run it, it's going to give us this and this. Okay, so now we actually can have something that's helpful, because having the element boxes without coordinates is like, it's like, okay, it's like someone said, hey, there's this great place, man. I know this great restaurant to eat. You're like, it's awesome. And you're like, oh, that's great. And they're like, yeah, it's totally awesome. And you're like, okay, well, where is it? And they're like, no, it's killer. Best food you'll ever have. You should have it. And you're like, all right, well, where do I go? And they're like, you're going to love it. So that's what that is like. But now we fixed it. So essentially we went through the Microsoft page and installed this thing. Okay. We had to fix the icon, the config.json files. Okay. So make sure you do that. And then we had to go over to the demo and we had to get the correct actual application launch. Okay. It's called the Gradio app. Okay. And then we had to make some changes. Okay. Not exactly straightforward. And if you, like I said, if you were trying to just walk through that on your own, you're not going to know how to do that. So that's frustrating. I'm glad we got that out of the way. So let's go ahead now and look at these stuff that it's given us. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break here. I'm going to hit pause and grab a drink of water, and then we're going to come back and we're going to grab the coordinates. We're going to throw it into ChatGPT, and we're going to have it make a configuration file for us that we can use. Okay, and we're going to just I'm going to show you kind of how that looks, and then we'll do some basic stuff with it, and then we'll move on to the actual sequence builder that I've created. So hang on there. For me, I'm going to take a good 1-2 minutes. For you, it's going to be like half a second. Yo. Okay, we're back. And so what we're going to do now is just do a really simple script, like pretty much you guys can figure out, but I'm going to just show you how we can get coordinates, how we can throw them into GPT, and how we can just do some basic stuff. It's going to be up for you guys. I'm giving you the Lego blocks, and then you guys can actually use this to then just make big stuff. Okay, so it's a little bit of a process, but let's go ahead and do this. So first thing we need to do is we've got to get a screenshot to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down, and let's get a screenshot of my desktop here. So I'm going to hit print screen, and then I'm just going to go ahead and grab this over here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Paint. I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm just going to save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my D drive. I'll just put it in the temp folder that we've been working on, and we'll just call it Untitled for now. So let's just click Save. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pop back over to here. And this is the one we're working on. So I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to grab the new screenshot that we just took. So we took a screenshot, we threw it into Paint, and then we saved it, and then now we're going to grab it under Temp. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that up. So there's the desktop, all right? And it all matters on dimension. So like this is going to look different on your computer, on my computer, so you're not going to be able to use my screenshot here. Plus I'm going to change things up later so that will be a worthless thing anyway. So we hit it, and then notice it goes ahead and it labels everything. Let's just go ahead and make this start button down here get clicked. So we can see down here, if we scroll down, you can see all the different stuff. I think we're going to be looking for search. Sometimes this is kind of difficult to see. Here, this is it. It's nice. So you can zoom way in, makes it a little bit easier, and you can see, yeah, it's number 9. So that's there too. So what we're going to do is we're going to just have it press on that. Okay. So first of all, what we could do is take some of we could just grab this all like this. We could, we want to get a way to use this. One thing we could do, but this isn't totally necessary, is you could copy this. We'd go over to ChatGPT, and we can say, make a JSON file based on this info, include element ID, name, and coordinates. It will be used for rapid coordinate retrieval. Okay, and then I'm going to put a colon there. Now what I like to do when I'm putting information, here's I like to bracket it off so that it just makes it easier for the the GPT to know what to break up different sets of information. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to close bracket it. Then let's go back over here to where we were, and we'll grab all the coordinates. Okay, and go back in there, do the same thing. I'll just create. This just helps again to make it, to separate the two things. So if we do this, GPT will make us a JSON file. Okay, and so here it goes. It's going to do all this. Now, I don't know that we really want to sit through all of this and wait for it to create it. But basically what you could do is off this one screen is you could grab all of this, throw it into a file, and this is how you would use it. I'm going to stop this for now. Let's just say to it, we know that 9 is our search bar. Okay, notice it didn't give it the correct name. So let's actually have it fix it. Say, you misunderstood. Let's say, what does it actually call? It says, not just textbook ID, but not the literal word name, but the identifier, i.e. Q search. Okay, now there we go. So even though these aren't really full things, what they do is they are unique, and that's what's most important. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it because we don't really need it to build the whole thing. But what I could do now is, now that we have our coordinates, now that we have a config file, you can just grab those, throw those into GPT, and you could say, make a Python script, or let's say write a Python script that clicks on 9, waits for 2 seconds, and then clicks on 9 again. After that, it double clicks on 1. Okay, so now it has information. So we could, if you already had the saved in a file, you could throw it in here. Say, write a Python script that does this. So it's going to go ahead and do it. Here's a simple Python script. Okay, and it's going to be getting it from our, it already has the coordinates, so it's fine. This is very simple, by the way. Notice we're going to need PyAutoGUI installed, so it mentions that's down here. So let's do a couple things quick, and then let's go ahead and run this, and we'll see how it works. So let's go back over to our command prompt. And we're already in our Omni, virtual environment. Okay, so because we're going to need to install something, so let's go python-m pip install PyAutoGUI. Okay, so that's what it needs to activate the script stuff. Okay, so great. So it's done that. That's installed that. Let's go back over to our browser and get its information. Now there's a couple things that we could do. We can copy it like this. Okay, so we want to copy it. We could go back to our browser or our command prompt, and we can type notepad. Gosh, where am I? Hold on. Doggone it. Notepad test.py. Okay, and then so same thing, it's going to go ahead and open up our notepad thing that says, do you want to create a new file? We'll put yes, and we can just paste it in there. Okay, and we can put Control S. Okay, so that's the easy way to get that in there. I'll show you another little side note, kind of cool trick we can do. But let's go ahead and run it. So if we type dir, we'll see that there's test.py. Let's type python test.py. Okay, and it says there's an error here. What is the error? Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the error, and let's just throw it into ChatGPT. It's so funny. I actually just did this right during our break, and so it's funny that it's not working now. That's Murphy's Law for you. Let's go ahead and paste that in there. Oh, it has a safety feature that stops the script if the mouse is moved to one of the screen corners. Okay, so it's going to have us. Okay, we're going to disable the feature just for now. Okay, and so what we'll do is we'll go over back to our File Explorer, paste that in there. Now let's go back to our command prompt and run it again. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and run the test.py, and we'll see, look, it goes down there, it opens it, it closes it, waits 2 seconds, then it goes up and opens the recycle bin. Okay, so there we go. We created our our first script. So good job. So we went over there, we got the coordinates from the browser, we threw it into ChatGPT, and then we asked it to create a script for us. Okay, so again, this isn't exactly the most intuitive thing. You have to know what you want to do. And what you can do, if let's say I want to get to a page that browses, well, I can ask ChatGPT about it, say, well, how can I scroll the mouse? Okay, move to these coordinates, scroll the mouse. How can I hit the control? I want to capture the URL window in a browser. How can I do Control L? So again, what this app does is it doesn't build the scripts for you. It gives you coordinates. It gives you easy to use coordinates and ability. It really is an ability application. It doesn't really do much for you. It gives you the ability to create stuff. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and show you, now that we've done our basic thing, we've created a script, you guys can expand that out however you want. Okay, look through here, see this. Oh, I want to click this and I want to do this. Get the you can manually get the coordinates and just post them. You don't even have to create that config file. Just manually grab them. You could just go like this. Copy it, go to your ChatGPT, paste that in there, go find it down here, 64. Grab the coordinates, paste those in there, and say, hey, write a script that clicks on this, and it'll do it for you. Okay, but let's go ahead and look at what I've created over here, which is a much simpler process. So again, the issues that we're dealing with is that we need to get a screenshot, and then we need to be able to get the information from that screenshot, but then be able to do something with it. Okay, so with this app that we've created over here, it's going to make it a lot easier. So let's go over here and take a look at this. Okay, so over here, what we have is, if you extract this file, you're going to get then install, which is going to go ahead and do everything, including all of the weights. So it's get done it for you in moments. And then we're going to have these 3 programs, which are important. We've got the screen grabber. That's going to actually make it so that we can capture the entire screen no matter what program we're in, which is really where the power of this comes in, because you're going to be inside of applications. I mean, you could be inside a video game, and you want to grab certain things, and you're just going to be able to press the button. It's going to grab everything, because you can't just grab parts. I mean, shoot, you could turn this into a thing if you're playing a game and you just want to sit there and what do you call it when you're just grinding for money or whatever. You can set up a script doing that, but that screen grabber is going to help you with that. The screenwriter is our main GUI we're going to click on. That's how we're going to create stuff, and then the handler is how we're going to end up actually running this stuff. So it's all intuitive. So let's go ahead and click on the script writer, and you're going to see that it actually is similar to the other one here, in that it loads up and it's going to create a run on local URL. So I'm going to hold the left control button. I'm going to click on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to pop us over to our browser. Okay, so you'll notice some differences here. Is down here I've got select elements, we've got different click types, and we've got different things that we can do. So we're going to be able to do wheel scrolling up, down, left, right. We're going to be able to put in keys, so things like Control L or Escape or Enter, Alt Tab, that sort of stuff. We're going to be able to write words into there. So like if we go up into here, we can actually go to a website, and then we're going to be able to do our clicking, and again, our left click, right click. I've also added down here an ability to loop your scripts. So if you just got to be doing something repetitively, it'll just do it forever. But let's walk through this and see how we could do this. So let's say I'm just going to do a real simple one where I want to just open up the Chrome browser extension and go to a website. Okay, maybe it's just a script that I don't know why I'd be doing. Well, let's say I'm going to do it. So first thing what we got to do is we've got to get a screenshot. So let's go back over to our File Explorer. Let's run this screen grabber. Okay, and this is what this looks like. So all it does is it loads it up, and it says press Control and Shift plus print screen to take a screenshot. Easy. Okay, so I can actually move this out. I don't actually have to be on there. But let's go to my desktop. Let's get rid of this. And now I'm going to set this up. What I want to do is I want to set something up that goes here, types something into here, clicks the button, and then opens up a browser. So I'm going to actually get this all set up. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my, well, let's just leave that there. Okay, I'm going to get everything the way that I want it to be. All right, now, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click the start. I'm going to click the thing here. We're going to go in here. We're going to type Chrome. We're going to hit the thing. Oh, and then mine actually opens up a thing. So let me just get everything set up. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Control, Shift, print screen. Okay, now if I go back over to here, you're going to see that my screenshot was saved. Okay, so I could actually do multiple screenshots. Another way I could have done it was just to do a screenshot here, then to open this, get multiple ones. But I kind of set it up. Now, if I go over to my OmniParser thing, I can go under here under Images, and you'll see it created a folder. And there is the image that I took. Okay, so if I took another image, if I was in I wanted something different, I wanted this up here, and I did Control Shift print screen, same thing. It's going to tell us that it saved it. Now, if I went over to there, it would have saved that as well in there. Okay, there it is. Okay, so that's how that works. Now let's go back to our GUI. Let's make sure our browser is open. I'm going to close this out. That was just all for setup. Oh, whoops. I closed up our... There we go. Okay, now let's go here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and we want to process that image that we just created. So I'm going to click on the drop, which is here. I guess we should go back to full screen. Okay, and so I'm going to go into here. Now, I was actually using it in a different folder here, so I'm going to go to my images, and I'm going to grab the screenshot that we took. Okay. So I'm going to click Process Image. So it'll take just a moment to process. Doesn't take too long. It takes a little bit of a moment. Okay. Twiddle the thumbs. Cough, cough, cough. It should be done. Okay, I can see it moving back here. Okay, so there we have everything on there. Now, it's kind of hard to see this sometimes. But so what we want to do is we want to click over here. So I'm going to just go ahead and scroll in. We're going to grab 53, and then we're going to grab 29, and then we'll grab 15. So 53, 29, 15. So let's go ahead. Let's reset our view. And now I'm going to go down to select my element. So I'm going to go down here to select element. That's the search. So I'm going to say I want you to click on it. I'll give it a 1 second wait. So it's set on click, set on left click. So I'm going to click add sequence. Notice it added it here. Now I want it to go. what was the other one? We need it to type. So we're going to go text, and we're going to type in the word Chrome. Okay, so I clicked on text, typed in the word Chrome. Okay, we're going to do add it to sequence. Then we know it pops up to here. So Google Chrome is, let's see here, that is number 25. Okay, so now we'll go back up to here. We're going to change it to click. Okay, and then we want it to click. We'll give it another 1 second. Wait, add the sequence. Okay, now let's look over here. This is why I set this up. Otherwise, we would have had to do multiple screenshots, which we can do, but it's easier this way. So we're going to hit 15. Let's go back to our element. Same thing, click, add the sequence. Then it's going to open up the browser. Okay, so at this point, what we want to do is give it a command. So I'm going to go to keys, and I'm going to type Control plus L. And what that does is it grabs the bar there. So we'll say Control plus L. We'll give it a second. Add the sequence. Okay. Then we're going to go back to here, and I'm going to type in www.cognibuild.ai. Okay. So we'll add that to sequence. And then we have to add one more thing. We need a key, and we'll go enter. Okay, so now it's all set up. So now all we got to do is click this generate script. Notice it said script generated. Okay, so what we do at this point is we pop back to our thing here, and now we want to run the script writer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, we'll just leave that there, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and run the script handler. So it's going to pop up this. So notice it's giving us some options. Run file, rename file, edit file, delete file. So let's click ahead and rename it. So it named it as sequence _2. You can also find it here in your folders under scripts. Okay. But here it renamed it. So let's click number 1, and we're going to call this Chrome URL Cognisite or whatever, just so that we can keep it in mind. So now if we go ahead and type A, we'll see there it is. So let's go ahead and run it. I'm going to press 1. Now watch, the mouse is going to move. So it's going to go ahead and do this. Takes us, so there it goes, clicks it in there, types Chrome. Oh, it was off just a little bit. All right, so that's no big deal. So what we can do, so it went down there, it typed in Chrome, but it didn't grab it. It clicked too low. So we can do a few things here. We could either redo it, or we can go over here and go edit file. Okay, now this actually is a good opportunity to show you how this all works. So all these imports up here, this is what we need for the application to run. This def means that we've created a function. So everything that we need is within inside of this. Notice that everything is indented in. So we're creating a parameter that's called, or a function that's called execute sequence. And then you can tell all of this is part of it because it's to the right. Okay, notice this if over here is in line with this, so it's not part of this. But these are all of our functions. So nice thing is here, it kind of gave us an idea of what it's doing. This hashtag means that it's commented out. So you could type anything. If you put a hashtag, you can be like, this is blah, 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 whatever, it doesn't matter. That just means that it's hashtagged out. So it went ahead and set our GUI to false safe so we can go do the stuff we need to do. It's printing stuff out. If we go over to where we were running this, where were we running this? You'll see that it was, well, I guess it's gone now, but it was printing it all out. Okay, so then it goes ahead, it sets this time.sleep, so it tells the system to sleep for 3 seconds. That's giving us an initial thing, so once we press start, we can kind of get where we need to go. And then it's using this PyAuto GUI. Remember we installed that? And it's saying move to these coordinates. Okay, so the first thing it did is it moved over to here, and that was the coordinates that it got from this over here. And you could confirm that by, clicking on this and, and finding it and looking at the coordinates here. Okay, so at any rate, so it goes over there and then it tells it what to do. And then it says sleep for 1 second. So it's just going line by line, do. Okay, then it gets the next one. This is what we're going to do. Type Chrome. So it does it. Okay, it writes it, Chrome. Then it sets it for sleep. Then this is where it messed us up. It says print executing this. So it went up there, but it clicked on the wrong spot. Okay, so we could actually increase this. Maybe let's try 125. Okay, because this is the x coordinate. I believe that's the x coordinate over here, and this is the y. So, oh, actually, no, we don't want we want the y coordinate to increase. So let's go ahead. I'm not sure if it goes up or down. So let's go ahead and let's make it 890, and let's see what that does. Now I'm going to hit Control S to save it. Now let's go back to our script handler here. We're going to hit this, and let's go ahead and run the file again. Let's see how it does this time. So it's going to take its 3 seconds, then it'll move it over there, type in Chrome. Oh, okay, so that moved it down. Okay, so if you increase the number, it moves it down this way. So let's go back over here. I'll hit Control Z, and let's make it smaller. So let's make this 818, and let's see what that does. So same thing. Go back to our run file. Now, if I didn't want to wait so long for this, I could go ahead and change out the other. There we go. So now it goes over there, then it grabs it, then it types in, and then it hits enter. And there we go. All right, so we created a script. Pretty cool, huh? All right, that worked pretty decent. So let's go back to our browser here and go back. So now let's say we've reloaded it and I want to work with that same screen, but I don't want to have to process it again. Let's go ahead and click the load existing. Okay, then we can go here and we can find, not under the images, but you'll see here, I'm not sure if you can see that screen. Hold on a second. Okay, so it loads up to, if we click load, it loads to images, but what we want to do is go back, and you'll notice that it created a folder called parsed. Okay, so we can grab the screen that we parsed. That's the one we just did. And now if we click load image, it's going to automatically load it up with the already parsed stuff. So that way we don't have to run it again. I could close it out. I could go back to another one over here. Same thing, click load image. And oh, this one didn't have the file because I redid it, but you get the idea. It loads it up and then it automatically loads the stuff that's with it. So that's a nice fast way that you can do this. Now I do want to show you something here. Let's say I wanted to use multiple screens. I'm going to hit reset sequence. So that way it's starting brand new. Let's say I want to start with this. Okay, I've got this image in here. So I'm going to choose an element. Let's see let's go ahead and load the image. And again, let's say this 50. So let's go down and click select element 50. Okay, I'm going to left click it. Okay, we'll add to sequence. But now let's say I want to load another one. So I could go over here, drop image. I can grab the second one, load that one up. Okay, then I could choose something from here and do the same thing, or I could right click on something. Now obviously these are the two same screens, but the point is just to show you that you can use multiple screens. And then I could go ahead and generate script that gets saved over in our scripts folder. All right, over here. Am I showing you this? Yep. And same thing, since we're already in our script manager, we could see it up there. I could change it, and I'll just call this test delete. Right? In fact, I could do it like this. I could, over here, I could press D, and then I could actually delete it just by pressing 2. Sure you want to delete it, and you got to press yes. Okay? Now you'll notice it's not there. Okay? Other thing is, if we type C, you'll actually show you the thing that edits, and it'll actually open up our file directly. So that's a nice, easy way to do it. So you got everything in here. And like I said, over here, you can use multiple screens. I could process multiple screens. But let's say I want to get screens that are changing. So let's go ahead. What we do is we make sure that our screen grabber is running. Okay, so our screen grabber is running. In fact, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit it out, and then I'm going to reopen it, because in doing so, it's going to create a new folder. Okay, so every time you load this thing up, it creates a folder. So 1, 2, now that we load it up again, it'll create a 3. So I'm going to go ahead, restart it. Screen grabber. Okay, so there it's running. Okay, now let's say I want to go ahead and I'm going to open up a program. So let's do this really quick. Just a second. Okay, let's say I want to do something like I automate the a character creation. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got this up. I'm going to hit Control Shift Print Screen. Notice over here it's got it. Okay, so I'm going to get that. Then I'm just going to walk through the steps that I need to go through. So okay, so it's going to go through this. Okay, now I'm also timing this because I need stuff to happen at right time. So I know I played with this before. It takes about 35 seconds to get from the beginning to inside of this. Okay, so now I'm going to want to click down here. Well, let's go ahead and hit Control Shift Print Screen again. Well, that screwed me up there. Okay, let's hit Control Shift Print Screen here. Okay, and then we'll go New Game. Then Control Shift Print Screen here. Okay. And then this loads up. We can kind of count this up here. Okay, Control Shift Print Screen. I'm going to want to hit an escape on this one. Okay, and then we get here. Same idea. Let's Control Shift Print Screen. Let's go, we'll click Proceed on there. Control Shift Print Screen, because we'll enter a name and proceed. Control Shift Print Screen. Okay, so we now have, well, actually we could do this. We could just Control Shift Print Screen here, and then let's quit. Okay, so you're sure you want to quit the game. Control Shift Print Screen. Okay, so what we've done is we have successfully print screened our way through that entire app. If we go over to our app here, we look at our images, you'll see it number 3. So here we have all of the screens that we need to be able to click on. Okay, that was by using the screen grabber. So let's go ahead and build a script. So we'll go reset the sequence. Okay, so that now we're starting brand new, and we'll load up the first image. So over here, we don't want the already parsed ones. What we want is this. We want to go to Images 3. We'll grab the very first. So we're going to process that image. Now this is a little bit time consuming because it's got to parse each image. But there you go. That didn't take that long. So we know that we want to hit this play button. So let's see what that number is. I'll put my glasses on here so it's a little bit better. Okay, that looks like, is that like a 91? Heck, a lot of images. So let's go ahead and scroll down here to 91. Okay, it says play. All right. So we're just going to go ahead, left click on play. But we need to give it a pause because it loads all the way up. So let's give it a 35-second pause. And let's go add to sequence. Okay, now let's load the next screen up. Okay, so this one might have problems because I messed up the click. So that one we'll just call in. We'll just click it ourselves. Okay, forget that one. Now you could fix it. I just don't want to go back and fix it. So let's go ahead and then process this. We know that the next screen goes to here. So we'll process that. You can see it kind of its progress bar there. Okay, so we'll type new game, which looks like to be number 3. So same thing. We'll go down here, select element, number 3, click. Okay, I think this one we just give it let's give it a 3-second wait. We'll add sequence. Then we can add the next image. Okay, process the image. All right, so we're going to just want to click. We could click on this whole thing, but we'll just go ahead and let it be as it is. And it looks like that's 8. So let's go ahead and grab 8. Give it. Let's give this one a 5-second. Let's give it 6 because I think after this it loads into that starts, which will add the sequence. Now we're going to load this one, but we're not going to actually need, we're just doing this more for ourselves because there's nothing to click on here. It just reminds us that at this point we need to press the escape key. So we're going to go down here to keys and we're going to type ESC for escape. And I guess let's give it another 5-second wait. Add to sequence. Okay, so that's going to escape us out of there. Then we can load this up. And, oops. We need to click the load existing, so we'll load this one up, process the image. We'll just do one more after this, just to get the name in there. Okay, so we're going to want to click on 47 for proceed. So we'll go back to our click, find 47, it says proceed. Same thing, let's click, let's just give it a 2-second wait on that one. Load up our next screen. Okay, so now let's enter a name in here. So it looks like name is under 20. So we'll go down to 20 and we'll left click it. Let's just give it a 1-second wait. Then we're going to go to text and we're going to name them Frobar. I don't know, just made that up. Okay, and it's going to enter that in there, so we'll add the sequence. And then we want to hit the proceed, and proceed is number 22. So we'll go back to click, 22. Okay. Now it'll go ahead and load us up to this screen, but let's at this point, let's go ahead and end our thing here. So we'll go ahead and process this image. Well, we don't even have to process the image. Let's just go ahead and get out. So let's just go keys and let's type escape. So let's give it 2 seconds after we press the escape. And then let's go ahead and load what the exit screen looks like. Okay, so it looks like quit game is under 9. So we go back to our click, quit game. In fact, it has it labeled there nicely. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click that, give it 1 second. And then the final one was our confirmation screen. So obviously this isn't a very helpful sort of thing, although it could be helpful if you want to create a character and you know how to, you get it all set up. But it's just more to show you the idea of how this could work. Let's grab 4 for yes, left click it. Okay, so now we've set up our whole thing. So let's go ahead and generate the script and it's done. Okay, so now if we look at, so there's all our images. If we go over to parsed, you're going to see that all those ones that we did, they were saved along with their config stuff. Okay, if we go to scripts, you're going to see that it created a new sequence. So we want to go to our script manager. Let's rename it. We'll call it BG3 care create. Okay, and so now all we got to do is go and load up the launcher. Okay, so let's go ahead, set this over here, and let's run our file. And see how we did. So it's going to take 3 seconds. Now it's really going to come down to the timing. So it went over there, clicked it. Hopefully we'll be there within 35 seconds. Oh, but actually, you know what? We didn't get this one. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit here once we do get into the screen. Okay, so we're going to go here. But now we'll go over to this screen. Now, if we wait the rest of the time, our timer should be done. There it goes over there. So I'm not touching the mouse, okay? This is all the script. There, hit the escape for us.
Who are you?
Good question.
You need a guardian. Choose one.
Okay, so it looks like it messed up the escape, but that's fine. That was our own bad. So we'll go ahead and quit the game. There you go. Okay. So there you go. We created a script that does that up. So now you can imagine you can do all sorts of stuff with that. You can see over here we had. Can you see that? Yeah, we've got wheel scroll. So honestly, you could sit there and you could scroll through social media. You could set it up for wheel scripting. Notice it says number of clicks. So you just got to play with it. Figure out how many clicks it takes for a thing. So you could click it. You could have it scroll, have it click, have it scroll, have it click, have it scroll, have it click. As long as you can figure out where the elements are. So like, let's say you've got a social media site and all the buttons are always right here and it's always 5 clicks down. Well, you could just go 5 clicks down, then click, 5 clicks down, then click. Okay. Unfortunately, some of these sites, what they do is they've, like if you go to Facebook, it's not always the same amount of clicks down to a button. But what you could do with this is that you could use the because we've created the config that it knows to say to look for a certain element ID. What you could do is you could use Python to create a script that says go down here and look for this element. If you don't find it there, then take a new screenshot of the page, send it to OmniParser, create the config, and then find the new coordinates of that element, because it should keep the names right. Like when I'm over here on my desktop, this is always going to be search Q. Okay, it's always going to have the same name. So if same thing, when you're dealing with these other ones, they'll have the same name. So you could just always say, okay, I can't find it. Okay, create a new screenshot, send it to parser, look through the config file, find the new location of that. Now go click on it. Okay, then scroll. And you could just keep doing that. Okay, so you'd have to, that's a little bit more complicated. We're not covering that, but you could do that. You could have ChatGPT help you to create that. Okay, so this is really the power of this, is that you saw that we were able to get into an app, capture the screenshots, we're able to then get the places of it and then create scripts. Again, over here, this is my app. The Microsoft one does not give you all of this stuff, but you can still do it by hand. But the other thing is, you can create a looping script. Okay, so if I've got a certain application that I know that I'm always going to be going here and then clicking here, and then I go in here, clicking here. Maybe you're mining in a game, or maybe you've got a database thing and you just have to enter a number and then click, and then enter a number and then click. Well, shoot, you could set up a text file that has all the numbers that need to be entered. And so it goes over there and says click, and then it says get the numbers from the thing, put it there. You go over here, click, go back, get the next line, enter it, click. So you can automate stuff with this. And the powerful thing about this is that you can get buttons from any application. And that's the key thing that I want you guys to take away from this. Windows has built into it the ability to left click and to right click and to do certain things, but Windows obviously cannot have the ability to know every button in every app. Okay? But with OmniParser, you can load up whatever your app is, any app, get the screenshot and find the exact screen coordinates for those buttons. And it's able to identify those buttons so that you can then say, that's the one that I want. So you can set up automated scripts all through it. The rest is up to you to use your imagination. If you want to make a scrolling app that it clicks and then it scrolls and clicks, there's some difficulties with that because the screens are changing, but you have everything you need here to just continually creating new screenshots and get it. So it just comes down to your ability to run the Python stuff. If you just want to do simple database stuff and the screen never changes, then you're set, man. Like click here, do this, right click here, do this, and then just loop it. So it's always doing it, and you have the ability to loop it here with my app. So if you're ready to go to install this thing, all you had to do was go to your OmniParser GitHub, remembering that there were some errors that Microsoft made. So you need to follow through this to make sure you get the right stuff, and then you can get your coordinates. You can throw those coordinates directly into ChatGPT, or you can learn how to build this yourself. It's really not that difficult if you sit down and start just kind of looking at it, what it's doing line by line. Otherwise, you go over here and you can grab the app that was sponsored by Real World, being sure to check out his webpage as well. And then you can just do stuff with the ease of a click. And you can get this over at the Patreon site, just patreon.com/Cognibuild. Okay. And all you got to do is go to collections and you'll find it under member exclusive software, along with a lot of other cool stuff. Okay, so there you have it. OmniParser, guaranteed no one else went into that much depth with you. This is actually how you use this app. It's not a casual app. Oh, I got it loaded. Okay, now I've got some numbers. What do I do? Right, because you got to do something. It's a tool so that you can then go do the work. Fortunately, I've built it so a lot of the work's done for you. Now you can spend your mental energy thinking out, how can I use this to build something cool? That's awesome. Okay, so I want to see what kind of cool stuff you guys are building. Share with me your ideas. Come over to the Discord, hang out with us, and show what you're working on. I'd love to work on it with you, or at least give you a pat on the back and tell you how awesome you are, because you truly are awesome. Okay, all right. Well, we're going to end it there. Thanks again to Real World. Be sure to check out his page and see what he's up to. And in the meanwhile, we're going to catch you down the road. Okay, yo.